striking the balance, acquiring new customers and fostering existing relationship. And for the same, I would like to introduce the moderator, Mr. Rakesh Gupta, Head Customer Services, Panasonic Electric Works India, is a result-driven professional with over 20 years of expertise in service operations, customer experience and service strategy, spanning B2C and B2B sectors. His hands-on experience covers various industries, including consumer durables, electrical constructions materials, DTH, small appliances and biomedical instrumentations. He excels in service delivery, customer life cycle management and ensuring customer satisfaction. Rakesh's specialization lies in developing nationwide service networks. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome our moderator for Fireside Chat, Mr. Rakesh Gupta, Head Customer Service, Panasonic Electric Works India. I would request the following panelists to join us on the stage. Ms. Neha, SVP and Head Customer Service and Digital Business, Reliance Securities, Reliance Money Limited. Ms. Jyoti Arora, Head of Customer Experience, Borosil. And Ms. Prerna Mittal, Head Go-to-Market Regional Marketing from Tata Motor. I would request the panelist and the moderator to kindly join us on the stage for the Fireside Chat. And I would request the moderator, Mr. Rakesh Gupta, to kindly begin with the Fireside Chat.
Thank you. Thank you. So one panelist got churned before the retention started. I can start up. Great. So the topic itself is very, interesting sort of thing where it is to striking the balance in between the acquiring new customers as well as retaining the existing customers. Very important to understand that acquisition, while it is required for the growth of the organizations, since morning we have been speaking about retention, loyalty, the consumers, what are the benefits which we can get from retaining the existing customers, or what are the upselling we can do by the existing customer, what loyalty can result as does, how generative AI, how those several tools can work. But end of the day, it boils down to the consumers who are going to be there with us, to whom we are going to retain for a longer period of time, and how it is going to help the organizations. So in my view, it is very important to retain the existing customer because it is less cheaper. So acquiring a new customer will be almost 5x the cost, while retaining the customer. The old customers will give you more revenue rather than the new customer, more profits they will be able to deliver. So hence it is always advisable to have the retention strategies in place. Now in the morning, Mansi spoke about uniform experiences, that we need to deliver uniform experiences across the channels, which will result into loyalty for the customers, which will result now. Ravi spoke about personalization. Personalization very important. A couple of days back I have been traveling. I stayed at one of the hotel chains. I checked up in the evening at around 8:30, and soon after check-in I received a call up that, sir, would you like to get the dal khichdi? So I said, I haven't even ordered. So then, no, the last time when you stayed, you ordered this. So the level of personalization or the data which it is getting ingressed into the systems, everything is revealed about us. Now, data analytics, we spoke about data analytics, that how it could be useful, how we can enter into personalization with the help of data analytics, which is available with us for all the consumers we have. So before we begin on the acquisition part, I would just like to have ideas about retaining, the retention of the customer, gaining loyalty from the existing customers. So Jyoti, from you come up from a very household name, Borosil. Kuch bhi lena hai to Borosil ka lene ka hai. So some of the effective ways, because you have also been working to retain the existing customers or loyalty programs. So what are the most effective ways you have adapted in your organization to deliver the unified experience we have been speaking about since morning? So exactly.
Hi, good afternoon everybody. Thank you Rakesh for that question. So yeah, rightly said, Borosil is a household name and we deal with a lot of homemakers primarily. And they've been, kind of using Borosil products for a while now. But we've also tried to understand, that there are market needs wherein maybe also we need to reach out to Gen Z and the millennials to be able to buy our products. And there the expectations on customer service are very, very different. So housemaker would be very happy saying, okay, I get my product in 7 days, 10 days, it's absolutely fine. मतलब मुझे क्या ही करना और कहाँ ही जाना है, right? But a Gen Z or a millennial with the kind of expectations that we've set for them, that everything has to be delivered today, and every time you call up customer service or chat with the customer service team, the solution or the resolution has to come instantly, and maybe that's the expectation now. So a lot of dynamics have changed over the years with the customers. So Borosil is also trying to catch up to get into this whole 360-degree change to figure out how we want to retain the customers, provide a unified experience. So I think one of the ways that we've really tried to look at integrating the customer experience is obviously one by giving them all the channels possible to be able to reach out to us, right? Because for me, one is the customer who buys from my website, which is a homemaker or maybe a Gen Z. We also have a lot of customers who buy from our retail stores. So we sell across a lot of retail stores across India, which also then becomes my customer. And the behavior there for a customer who's dealing with a dealer or a distributor will be very different from somebody who buys from an online store. So to be able to match those expectations, also sometimes dealers and distributors directly speak to us to say, customer bought a mixer from me, but it's not working. I want you to fix it. So you have to kind of look at mapping all of these expectations there. So we've kind of tried to implement multiple platforms for the customer to be able to reach us. So chatbot is the norm now, even calls for that matter, or emails, there's social media. Then we also do something with the dealers and distributors, where we give them contact cards and send them QR codes. And you just scan the QR code and there's a pop-up that comes to the WhatsApp page directly, and anything that you want to chat about, there's a dedicated team. So that's taken care of instantly because that's where most of the issues come and arise. Another thing that we're very proactively trying to do is to understand customer sentiment in the sense, for example, when my agent or there's a chat that's happening with the customer, which is a bot-driven chat, basis on the kind of keywords the customer is talking about, we also try and pick and understand whether, is this chat going in the right direction? Is it great to be able to continue with the bot, or do I need somebody to intervene and take over the chat before the customer kind of gets angry or upset about what's happening with him? So rather than, giving him robotic answers and saying, okay, if you're still not happy, maybe call me, there's an automatic switch that happens to maybe a senior agent or an escalation specialist to say, hey, I see your chat and I think you're not happy with the kind of responses that you're receiving. Can I help you in some way? So this kind of, brings a whole unified experience. Also helps the customer to say, okay, it's not just a bot that I'm talking to, and they're here to solve my problem. So that's one way of making customers happy and maybe addressing their issues in a little more proactive manner. On the retention bit, I think we work on a full-fledged QR code scan program, or which is a loyalty program again, where all our products come with QR code pasted on the products, right? So we are trying to do it with physical warranties because a lot of our products come under warranties. So there's an after-sale service involved. It is a lot of work that goes around it. So you also are encouraging customers to scan the products, get your digital warranties activated. We collect customer database with that. We also run a reward program around customer scans, so that we can also incentivize them to be able to get the data, get authentic products. And then we also use that same product or same data rather for upsell, cross-sell. We reach out to them for surveys, all of that. So I think we're trying to take baby steps and maybe a lot of things are trying to be put in place to be able to reach out to the customers and also ensure that the customers who are with us stay with us.
So I was, noting down the answers which you gave, Jyoti. So very interesting point when you mentioned about the unified experience. So how do you ensure that if a customer is engaging with you on one channel and then all of a sudden it's, it's Gen Z or, Gen Z plus. So they switch on to another channel and they expect whatever I have told to the organization in my previous chats or in my previous conversation stays, and all those questions should not be asked, all those validation should not be asked. So are you able to crack the code there?
Oh, absolutely. So I think we work with a very enhanced CRM solution. So we actually work with Salesforce. So, every time a customer talks to me, whether it's a chat or it's a call or it's an email, I have everything recorded. So next time when the customer calls me, his whole information will pop up. And the agent will very easily be able to access. And I mean, sorry, I can see that you spoke to somebody from my team, maybe yesterday, and you were talking about a broken bowl and you wanted that to be replaced. So please be rest assured, we've taken cognizance of the complaint that you've given, and these are the steps that we've taken, and this is the resolution, and this is what will happen. So everything is available to the agent. So today, if the agent has to take a call or a chat or an email, he just works on one screen. Everything is there. It's a 360-degree experience, which also helps him understand what the customer was asking about, where did he leave off last with us, and what is it that he needs to take forward.
Okay, perfect. Now, when we spoke about customer retention, so BFSI being one of the major areas where customer retention or loyalty being too much of focused upon to get the same revenue from the same consumer year on year. But you being from the BFSI segment, Neha, so referral programs. So an existing satisfied customer, we always give referral programs to them so that they can bring in more new consumers. So another way of upselling or getting new consumers through the existing customers, word of mouth. पहले वो एक दूसरे से बोला करते थे, but now these referral programs have been placed. So how you are, by these referral programs, you are able to bridge the gap in between the new customers or the existing customers, and how to manage the balance in between these two?
Okay. Yeah, Rakesh, thank you for your question. So regarding referral program, it is a very, very effective way of acquiring new customers. In fact, it has become a new channel in every organization because it's a very low-cost model. And it also helps a customer who's existing to showcase that, I have given this percentage of clients from my network. So it's a good value proposition for both and win-win situation for both new and existing customer, because we also have a lot of MLM kind of programs going on in the market and in our kind of industry, which helps extra income, you can say, for the people. And it really helps clients to get retained, because why will somebody give a reference? Only if he's satisfied with the company, or he's liking the products and he's finding the platforms very good. That is the only way. But it's just a very, very tricky kind of situation, because at the same time when we are also talking about the challenges, so there are customers who also check the competition nowadays, and we've been talking on the loyalty part. So clients do not really stick to the loyalty anymore. So they see their value proposition, even if it is for their self, consuming the product, or else even finding some kind of referral benefits.
Okay. So when you say that, it is very difficult to retain the customers, giving the options he has been spoiled for. Yeah. So any specific steps you have taken, in order to make sure that the consumers whom you have got aware that these consumers are going to move away very soon? Yeah. Have you taken any steps to retain them up, any pointer to identify that this is something which is a probable churn?
Yeah, so recently, not really recently, but yeah, as a organization, we've been, checking, via the data science, we've been checking the clients who have stopped trading, and we've been, catching them on the right. After 5-6 months, we see their journey, that if somebody is not working with us, then we keep calling these clients, we understand, we nudge them with different notifications, and we touch base with them to understand that why they have stopped. And then we gather the feedback, and accordingly we work on the feedback. And this is how we've been able to activate also quite a lot of customers. So major issues what we found is either it is a competition pricing issue, or else it is a platform issue. So sometimes, the customer plays, he knows the technology is far superior elsewhere, or the platforms are much better elsewhere, and, he's not wasting much of time in putting a trade, so he walks away from us. So these kind of triggers we keep watching, and then we keep improving ourselves.
Great. So speaking about loyalty, Prerna, you come from a brand which is known for loyalty, which is being one of the most loved, even not the brand, the name itself, Tata. So all of us in the room can resemble to it. We have been growing, resembling to that brand, Tata's being one of the most loved brands across. So how do you create, already personal, Tata is always personal, loved. Absolutely. So how do you create personalized experiences for these consumers who have been working with Tata for year on year, whether it's automobile or whether it's entertainment or any of the industry or insurance or finance, any. So how do you create personalized experiences for them to make sure they stick to you?
Right. So I'll just take 2 minutes to give you a little context. Definitely customer retention in FMCG, BSFI is extremely tough because you're dealing with the customer on an everyday basis. But when it comes to automobile, now we're talking about huge monies here and we're all Indians. We want value for our buck. Love is one side, प्यार अपनी जगह बच्चा पढ़ना चाहिए, right? Everything has to show you results, right? So it is extremely important here, hence, and very tricky to retain the customer. See, because out of love, the customer will buy it once, right? But every moment, I'm so sorry, every moment after that, once he's shown that trust in you, he's going to be extremely critical. Because now he's trying to analyze whether this decision was right. There's this buyer's remorse. So what you have to do is just go back to the basics. I think we've all heard and taken the benefits of digital marketing, AI tools, etc. But the back to the basics is when it comes to a car customer, and let me tell you about specifically SUVs because that's what I have worked with specially. If I can ask somebody, maybe the gentleman on the second table in the grey suit, sir, what car do you drive? Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Scorpio, right? Why did you buy Scorpio? Was it the first car you ever bought? No. There was another car, let's say a hatchback, right? But why did you buy Scorpio? The design, right? It's very dominating, it's very powerful. You wanted to reflect what you feel about yourself or how you want the world to see you, right? Sort of, right? I would always like a Hummer, except I don't like the boxy design, because that's how I want the world to see me. Powerful, assertive, etc. So this is what happens with SUVs, all right? SUVs or sedans, the bigger cars. You have to understand what the customer is looking for in his life. It is not just an everyday tool that he'll use, There are multiple ways to go by. But if you can connect with him on that personality level, then you have him for life. People who have owned Safari, and I'm talking about the legacy Safari, they all love it. And it's not that the product did not have problems, right? We all know there were, and every brand has that. But the good thing was Safari at that point in time also connected with the customer on the psychological level. It said, reclaim your life. In my father's generation or the people who are maybe, let's say, around 50, 60, we were all coming out of the struggling period of Indian era where we were just working. Roti, kapda, makan were the only 3 things you were looking for. Suddenly, here's this brand who says, bhai, if you're working so much, if you're earning and everything, you need to also reclaim your life. Go out, enjoy, have fun with it. If you have a car, show off, go out on a drive, right? So that's where the customer connect became. And honestly, today, when I launched Safari 2 years ago, that's exactly the insight we've carried forward as you would do, right? But the expression of that retention, the reclaim your life has changed. And that's what the brand has to understand. That the insight, probably the core insight will always remain the same, but the expression changes. 20 years ago, the way I wanted to dress up for a party would be very different than now. And if a brand doesn't move like that, there cannot be any retention. Because at the end of the day, it's about the brand truth, right? And you have to also understand the category of the customer segment. In a car, so what did we do with Safari? We understand that all of you, and I think I'll speak for everyone, that we don't have time. Most of us drive the bestest of cars, Jaguars and Fords and Jeeps and of course Tatas, right? But we don't have time to go out. We see all these ads. People are going to Leh Ladakh. People are going to northeast, etc. But nobody is able to go by themselves because you are disconnected now, sir, with your friends from college who used to do that with you. So what did we think? We can sell you a Safari, but you can also buy a Jeep. You can also buy a Scorpio, but you can also buy a Mahindra. But what you can't get is a personalized experience. So we have this community called Owners United League, wherein we just try to get everyone together and rekindle their spirit. If I pick the two gentlemen from here and the two gentlemen from there and just ask them, can you tell me like a common destination? And it's pretty much the same, the Leh Ladaks and the Jaisalmers and the Pondicherry Drive. And I give them a platform where I'll plan everything and they will find people with their common interest on that drive. That's what they're looking for. They do not have time to plan that. And they do not have time to keep a track that I should recurringly do it. So I do it through my platform. And honestly, in doing that, I not only give them a direct experience with my product, but I also make them brand ambassadors. Because now they are willing to probably let go of the smaller mistakes of my vehicle because of the larger experience. See, in life, all of us want to be happy, right? Chota-mota mistakes we are going to let go. Borosil ka tube mein wo aisa, when you press it, no, it always cracks. 20 years ago also it used to crack, बीच पे से cream निकलने लगता था, आज भी करता है. But it's such a brilliant product that I'm okay to excuse that. Because it is feeding me today, or it is benefiting me today in the same way it did earlier. I don't have time, I use one Borosil all over and I'm done. Right? So I think that's where we are coming for. And just to give you a parallel example, sorry I'm taking time, but when it comes to commercial vehicle customers, you can't show them, bhai, go on a drive. He's not looking for a drive. A guy who has 1,000 trucks, he does not have time. And he'll go alone with his family. What he's looking for when he's buying a truck is peace of mind. He's going to invest 40 lakhs with one truck of yours. And he has a fleet of 1,000 vehicles. He cannot have the vehicles stop anywhere. He cannot have your vehicles not performing well, or his drivers complaining, or his drivers feeling that ye to driver ka job hai, main kyun karu? Let me tell you, there have been a couple of fleet owners with trucks just standing there because there were no drivers to drive them. Because driving as a profession is not celebrated. Right? And that's another story for another topic. But a last example, in Ghana once at 2 o'clock in the night, one of our customer advisors got a call from the customer. He's like, my vehicle is not working, we are stranded somewhere, etc., etc. And our service advisor reached there. He reached there, he fixed the vehicle, and then he told the gentleman who owned the vehicle that he's from Tata, not the X brand, which was broken, but the level of service was, because this was a fleet customer and we had a long relationship, it didn't matter what product was broken or failed. The idea was to support him in his business. And I think that's where you start retaining your customer for life, right? With all the other fringe benefits added, but you need to keep that emotional touch intact. Thank you so much, and sorry for the long answer.
Completely do agree with you, Prerna. This community, I recently bought my third Scorpio just to remain in that community. So when we speak, so in morning, Juhi gave a lot of insights on the internet exposure. The people on internet average 100 minutes, more than the inactive users, there are the active users. So everything, data consumption, people are eating data, everything is on social today, what we see, Jyoti. So how do you leverage social media to interact and keep engaging with your consumers in order to make sure that they remain on their platform and keep on buying from you?
Right. So social media, I think we all know it's everywhere, right? Even if you want to escape it, you just cannot, because it's like everywhere. And customers today very well know, that the moment you go to social media, you're going to be heard, even if you're not heard otherwise. And most of the brands actually detest customers coming on social media and posting bad things about the brand, because it just becomes like a panic situation, and you have an ORM team who just keeps monitoring social media 24/7 to say, I do not want any bad comment on my social media post, whether it's an X or an Insta or whatever. But I think on the contrary, social media can actually become one of the best learning tools to be able to understand what is it that you're not doing correctly for your customer. Because customers are there to vent it out, they go all out, blast you on social media as much as they can, right? And that's where you pick up and say, okay, in the last 1 month, maybe I got 10 people talking about only a delivery issue, maybe in a particular area itself, or maybe a particular city itself. So how do I address that? So social media, one, becomes a very, very important tool to be able to pick up what's not working for you as a brand, and then also try and pass that information internally. So like we do that a lot. We have a specific team who only picks up social media comments the entire day. We have a dashboard that we've created and published, and it goes to all the stakeholders in the organization. Whether it's my logistics team, which means a warehouse in Gurgaon who's dispatching a 100-rupee bowl, or maybe an appliance, or any of that. Similarly, a product guy who's designing, air fryer, which costs you about, say, 10,000, or an OTG, which costs you 20,000. So we pick up all those snippets that come from the customers, right? And we keep feeding this information to them. It helps us improve products, sometimes delivery, sometimes logistics issues. So all of that is basic and hygiene. Other than that, why we also use social media is to obviously, we have multiple campaigns going on, stuff like that. We also reach out to the customers, to a lot of influencers, to be able to understand how do we kind of, project our products, and we try and keep it very, very basic. So we don't want very, influencers who are like really lavish, or, maybe just followed by millions and millions of people. We try to keep it very, very basic. We reach out to regional influencers or people from different markets who connect well with the customers on the basic emotional level, right? Because it's a home brand. It's something that you use in your house every day. Like we recently launched we repositioned our whole Lara brand to say, my home, my way. And we've used, simple homemakers, people working women who don't have the time for themselves, and they're talking about, how they use this particular brand or this particular product in their everyday homes to entertain, for their house, for the kids and all of that. So we try and keep it very, very simple, but we definitely mine social media for a lot of inputs on how do we improve. Because that's where, we do a lot of takeaways from there, and it's really helped us, change our product designs to maybe the listings that we create, and it actually gives us a lot of benefit around there.
So influencer, when you speak, it's a very, very important point, influencer management in terms of acquisition or in terms of retention of the existing customer. Also, just to add on one point, we started, a couple of years back, we also started, we are from Anchor. So home, rather than Panasonic Electric Works, we are more known as the brand Anchor in switches. So how many of you know that for a 12 rupees or 20 rupees switch, our organization is providing home services, on-site services, right from Ladakh to Kanyakumari or Attak to Cuttack? Anybody has got it? For a 20 rupees switch, organizations like us are, trying to make sure that the consumers are, so once you buy a switch, as you rightly said about the vehicle, for switches also or for electrical equipments also, once you install them, next 10, 15 years, you don't tend to change them normally. With the current generation, being an exception, every 5 years they want to change the colors, or they want to have different colors in the different rooms. But yes, retention and influencer management. So who's the influencer in the industry? Like electricians. When we speak, whenever you went to buy a fan, very normally you don't go with a specific brand in name. But the chotu on that electrician shop will tell you, sir, ye buy kar lo, iski na service achhi hai. So influencers, as you rightly said, not only offline, online, but offline also very important. Now, when we speak about customer retention, we have spoken many things, but still there are churns. All of us know, whether it's telecom, whether it's BFSI, whether it's banking, or whether it's product companies, there's a lot of churn which is happening. And recently I've been watching, data from one of my ex-organization, telecom organization. So the number of new connections which they are giving, all the telecom companies put together in a year, are more than the active users, the new connections. So where are these? Actually, these consumers are churning from one brand to another scheme came up, so they switched on to another brand with MNPs and number portability being so easy. So what are the common challenges which you face, Prerna, to retain these consumers, the existing customers retention? What are the challenges, and why do these consumers leave businesses when we are providing best of the services, best of the products, best of the pricings? And why do consumers leave? What's your analysis on that?
Okay, so regarding challenges, when you are saying we are providing best, we feel it is best, but it is they who need to feel that it is best, because they are the right judge. I mean, they are the customers at the end. So, whatever they decide, it is up to their decision. So, of course, we have to bother ourselves for that. When somebody is moving out, we have to ensure that we know the reasons, so that it is a feedback for us to make sure that next customer does not leave us. So biggest challenges in our kind of industry is either it is on the pricing or it is the product features, sometimes platforms, the UI, UX, then sometimes they've, incur losses. That is also one of the biggest challenge sometimes we feel, because the customer has decided that my RM has suggested me this and I'm not happy, I've got losses. So it's not, a compulsion that this loss will not happen elsewhere. He can face similar, but the market is so open that there is no restriction to open your number of accounts. Anybody can go anywhere. Parallelly also they run 2233 accounts. So it's not that they are sticking to us completely and being loyal to us. So it all depends on what value proposition they are facing, where, and accordingly they decide. So that's the biggest challenge for us. Market has become very competitive. There are, companies who are giving completely zero brokerage accounts, and there are companies who are giving a lot of benefits sometimes. So multiple things that we are facing, challenges for.
So, as Neha told about the consumers getting churned and less control what we today have. So what's your take on this, Prerna? How do you see this as a challenge? What are the common challenges in the customer retention part? Although, the turnover is not that high, but still the churn is there or the retention is lesser parts. What could be the challenge?
Thank you for the question. So just to go back to something I said previously, we have to understand the whole psyche of the consumer is changing. We are in a paradigm shift in terms of societal behavior, right? Today, somebody goes and buys a product, like in US, so you'll have multiple cars, you don't mind disposing of a refrigerator outside. I've never heard my mama probably disposing a refrigerator today, which I'm very comfortable with. So what happens is when you're trying to build up a value proposition, you have to make it twofold, even within cars. Like you said, ek baar khareed liya, it is there for the 4 years, but there's going to be some basic hygiene stuff that you have to give them. You have to give them performance, you have to give them safety, you have to give them comfort, right? And you have to definitely stand out in one of those basic pillars. But what customer today gets attracted to is trends. This word trends, ab kya trend kar raha hai? Trends are there for trends only. They don't stay. Trends don't stay. But your customer is like, with all respect, customers are very intelligent, and that's why brands have to work so hard. But sometimes at the product truth moment or that buying sale moment, they become like small kids. So something new comes and you are like really excited about it. And I'll give you an example of sunroof, right? For the longest time, India did not want sunroof, did not care, did not bother. Here you have an outside brand come in, let's say from China, MG Hector, and the Kias and the Hyundais, and they have sunroof. Now, who's influencing the decision? Like you said, there are influencers. There are multiple influencers in a car buying decisions. Your wife, your family, your friend, especially your kid. Now that you're 40, 50, you realize kids are the only important thing. मैंने ध्यान नहीं दिया. अब मेरे बच्चे को जो चाहिए वही चाहिए. बच्चे को कुछ नहीं चाहिए. He wants sunroof. Now, what happens to your proposition, right? You need to be able to provide that sunroof. But once we buy that sunroof, how many times are we using it? How many times do you remember opening that sunroof? And you have really paid 2 lakhs minimum additionally, all right, to buy that sunroof, all right? But that doesn't mean you can just give the sunroof and not give the rest of the comfort. So I think when it comes to challenges like this, we have to understand there will be new brands coming in from global areas, and they will have new technologies. Stick to your brand truth and see what your consumer will really value in slightly a medium term, if not long term, and give that. MG Hector came up with a really big digital design, but did it stay? No. Wait for it. Don't panic as a brand. Realize what trend you want to include in your, your deliverable, and I think then you're good to go. Thank you so much.
So stay with the basics. Stay with the basics. Thank you. Great. Thank you. It was great interacting you, Prerna, Jyoti, and Neha. And thanks to GainSkills for providing such a great platform to speak about the retention.
Thank you for the in-depth talk and sharing your ideas and thoughts.